Yeah, so we finna get this party started. Let everybody time to come on in. So I want to get started. Before I get started, let me just go in with a word of prayer. Oh dear Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you for this Friday evening, Lord God. I ask that you clear my mind, Lord God, clear everybody's mind, and let's open our ears and our hearts, Lord God, to what's going on, Lord. Because Lord God, people have the right to know what's going on, and Lord God, may this message I'm about to share be encouraging and may it be inspiring and useful to somebody that need to know the truth. In Jesus, I pray, Lord God, amen. Let everybody a chance to come on in. And to my TikTok following, you're gonna get the chance. What you don't see on this live, I'll be posting it on my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna have a link to that video as soon as I get done. But this is what I want to present to everybody because people need to know what's going on because it's easy to blame Trump for everything. It really is. Like we understand what Trump does in his shenanigans. Okay, I've told everybody on social media why I voted for the man because I don't respect the Democrats. I don't respect Kamala Harris, and I have my reasons for it. But before I get started, I just want to let everybody know that this is no knock to anybody that's been on EBT or food stamps because people tend to misinterpret it what I post, especially on my Facebook account. They know who they are. People misinterpreted my words. They call me all kinds of names because I don't agree with the majority of people that be on here. Because I notice this, especially within the black community. If you don't go along with the majority of people like to talk about, if you don't go along with the majority of what people like to agree upon, then they're gonna call you all kinds of names. Because you don't vote on the candidate that they're voting for. Because you're going opposite way, they think you're a coon. You're a Sambo and all these other things. So I'm gonna just say it on here going forward. Please, if you're gonna comment on my video, please be respectful. Let's stop the name calling here because we all try to get to the bottom of what's going on. And I also have the solutions. Okay, I'm gonna bring the solution, but I need to explain that. What's up, Ashley? Thanks for tuning in. I need to explain that, but just going forward. Okay, I need people to understand this. Well, but before I get started, okay, I understand that there are people that need EBT. They need their stamps. Okay, and I'm talking about the disabled, certain military veterans. You got elderly people that need that stuff. And even there's like even the stay-at-home moms who's their husbands, right? Their baby daddies that are married. Okay, I'm not talking about them at all. Because all poor people aren't lazy. When I posted on Facebook, this goes to my Facebook audience. When I said what I said, when the president shut things down and this is supposed laziness, laziness don't apply to everybody. Because who's the lazy people I'm talking about? And I exposed who I'm talking about. I exposed the lazy ones already. But this is a video that I'm about to present. And I'm going along. I'm explaining to everybody as I go along. I'm going to tell you what led to this. Okay? Because, again, you got to blame Biden. You got to put some blame on Biden. It can't just always be Donald Trump. Yeah, it's easy to blame him now because he's the president. But remember, Trump wasn't in office the previous 4 years. Okay? Now, again, I want to thank everybody that's getting ready to tune in. Everybody's going to be watching this live. Now, without any further ado, let's get started because we need to see what led up to this. Because Biden spent a lot of money, a ton of money of America's budget. Okay? Now, it says what countries receive the most foreign aid from the U.S. And again, to my TikTok audience, I'm on my computer. As I'm talking to you, I'm on research. I'm going to have this streamed on all my platforms. So it says in the fiscal year, and we talking 2023, so this is like a couple of years ago. The most recently fully reported year, Ukraine received 16.6 billion, the most of any country. The amount reflects disbursements, a measure of foreign aid that captures when money is actually transferred out of the U.S. government accounts. Foreign aid is reported by more than 20 agencies within the federal government that fund foreign assistance activities. So again, Ukraine alone got 16.6 billion in 2023. And we all seen what's going on with Zelensky. He just keeps coming back. Zelensky was milking America for as much as he can get out of Biden. because I need people to I need to explain this too. A lot of these world leaders don't respect Biden. They don't, because they know Biden is old and he's incompetent. Biden had no business in that White House. So Zelensky and people like him took advantage. And that includes Hamas. Now, I'm not going to get on too much on Hamas because America had no choice but to get in that war, because they did kidnap American hostages just like they did on Israel. But it says here that the modern concept of foreign aid began in 1946 when the U.S. began giving money to countries in post-war Europe to rebuild their infrastructure and economies. The United States has continued to provide foreign assistance to other countries for humanitarian, security, peace, and economic development purposes. Investing in global security and stability serves U.S. national security interests by creating strategic economic connections with other countries. Okay, but look at that, 16 billion. Look at 88% of countries receiving foreign aid from the U.S. So infatuated adjusted the disbursements from 2023. This is just 2 years alone. Okay, so I want everybody to see that. Okay, this again, all this was when Biden was in office. So the top rate receiver was Ukraine, right? But look at that. West Bank and Gaza, 102 million. And Taiwan, 13.6.1 million. So that's what Taiwan was going at, or was in war with China. See, Biden had America involved with other wars. Technically, they was assisting Taiwan against China, which again had nothing to do with America. So to the people watching this video, I want you to see what Biden was doing with our budget. Because this also explains why FEMA didn't have enough money for the victims that lost houses. The ones who got hit with these hurricanes, these wildfires in California. This is why you didn't have no money. Top recipient Ukraine received more money from the U.S. than the bottom 159 aid receiving countries combined. Some places that receive aid are not recognized by the U.S. Department of State as countries are not dependencies or territories of any other sovereign country. Look at that. Since 2001, see, again, I'm just showing y'all numbers. Okay. So again, we know what look at. Biden administration has provided over 175 billion in total assistance to Ukraine, which includes military, financial, and humanitarian aid. As of early January 2025, a significant portion, more than 66.5 billion, was specifically military assistance. The totals includes various packages such as military aid, loans, and humanitarian economic support. So now y'all see, again, I want y'all to see numbers. Let me look at that closely. So to my audience, y'all gotta understand where I'm coming from here. So again, you can't blame all this ain't on Trump. This is what the Democrats was doing. Okay, that's just them alone. I'm not gonna bring up Africa right now. And y'all seen what Trump is getting ready to do with Africa. Now that's I'm gonna talk about Africa when I talk about a separate video, because I'm gonna be doing part 3 of my Palestine versus Israel civil war. But I need you all to see this. This is where all this money was going while Biden was in office. So my Facebook fam, y'all see, my Instagram fam, y'all see what's going on here. And again, I thank everybody for tuning in, but now you see it. He spent a lot of money, a lot of America's budget. Now let's talk about these illegal immigrants, because Biden opened up them floodgates. So yeah, y'all want to know why y'all SNAP benefits ain't been coming in? Now you're going to know why, because America don't got money like that. That's what they telling y'all. Since Biden took office in January of 2021, there have been over 10 million migrant encounters nationwide, including over 8 million at the southwest border. A significant number of these individuals have been released into the U.S. interior, and estimated nearly 2 million known gotaways have invaded Border Patrol and have entered the U.S. undetected. Now, these could have just easily been terrorists. Yeah, Hamas planted. Believe it or not, that's another reason why ICE had to do some immediate raids, because they actually busted people that was working for Hamas. Okay. Now to get to the ones that Kim Jong-un tried to plant in here, y'all. Okay, yeah, you get mad at ICE all you want to, but this had to happen for our protection. Now, to my Facebook audience, I already told y'all the video about Shamsuddin Jabbar, the man who was once a military veteran that basically turned his back on America and went ISIS. He was planning, he's planning an attack in New Orleans New Year's Eve of last year. But let's continue, okay? So total encounters, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has recorded nearly 11 million nationwide encounters from a fiscal year. Okay, and it releases into the U.S. interior. Many migrants process was released from federal custody to await immigration court proceedings. Once enlistments of December 2023, nearly 13.18 illegal entrants encountered with the southwest border was released into the U.S. Of other sources report the administration has released millions of inadmissible aliens into the country. So again, this is where all this stuff is going. Y'all need to understand what all this I'm reading is ties into what I'm talking about. Parole programs. The Biden administration has used specific parole programs such as CHMV programs for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, and CBP One app process to allow more than 1.4 million individuals to enter the U.S. through ports of entry. So again, this is why we have our issues, y'all. And this is not counting the stuff a lot of these immigrants, illegals was doing, because they were doing a lot of crime. Okay? Again, this is the reason why a lot of these food stamps have been cut off, because they trying to tell you off the top, we don't got money to keep funding everybody. This is what leads to a shutdown, because Biden, he has to come up with a different plan. He had to reset everything. Deportation removals. The Biden administration has conducted more than total removals and expulsions, combined total 8 deportations and pandemic era Title 42 expulsions. Then in the previous administration's single term, in mid of 2024, the administration has conducted over 4.4 million repatriations, unauthorized immigration pollution. So unauthorized immigrant pollution. So we're going to talk about the population. As of January 2022, the Department of Homeland Security estimated a total unauthorized immigrant population residing in the U.S. around 11 million. Some non-government analysts suggest that this number has grown significantly under the Biden administration, that estimates ranging 14 million and 2023 nearly 16 million. So when you have that many people in here, y'all, okay, you're breaking them into America's ecosystem that can't handle that many people. Thus, SNAP benefits, they got to try to subsidize this many people all at once. And what Biden and them did, and Kamala did, they made sure the immigrants got taken care of first. See, what y'all don't understand, and I'm talking to black folks, Kamala made sure her Indian people, and I'm talking about, yeah, Trey Williams, yeah, no, it's the, actually, I got a video that says otherwise. The majority of welfare ain't on white people, bro. It's immigrants. There are people that come from Iran, Pakistan, okay, that are on these benefits. It ain't just white people. Yeah, white people have a large majority, but I got a video that says otherwise I'm going to play on here. And you can hear it for yourself, but again, people, like, these SNAP benefits, what Kamala did, because she was in charge of the border, okay? But she did not vet this many people. Neither did she give people citizenship like that. Kamala made sure her Hindu Indians that came over here, they was taken care of first. You see, Biden made deals with these other countries. Why he let them in? Like the Venezuelan leader, the president over there, the Somalian president. He made deals with these other presidents, these other leaders, these countries. Now, I mean, he's going to let their people come in here for opportunity while they do something for him. Biden and his son was profiting with these other countries to let him in there. There's reasons behind everything. But in doing so, he made it harder for us regular American citizens. Because again, taxpayers like myself, part of our taxpayers' money, whether it's $36 or not, goes towards these benefits. So we was helping these illegals come in here. Okay? So yeah, welfare affected American citizens the most, because most of their stuff ain't going to them like that. It's going to these illegals. So y'all got to understand this. Now, I'm going to read this. This is from now I'm reading from the Economic Policy Innovation Center. This website. That says 1.5 million non-citizens receive food stamps. Okay? Now we're going to get to the meat and the potatoes of this video, of this presentation. Okay? And again, y'all can all follow along for who's on my screen right now. The food stamp program provided benefits to 1.465 million non-citizens in the fiscal year of 2022. The largest data available from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA. Another 2.2 million children living in non-citizens were also on food stamps. These nearly 1.5 non-citizens collect a total of $4.2 billion in food stamp benefit payments. According to the USDA, the non-citizens included lawful permanent residents, refugees, and asylees, those granted a stay of deportation, and undocumented individuals. Undocumented individuals are not eligible to receive SNAP benefits, but may be non-participant members of SNAP households. Okay? Again, I need to let everybody, I'm reading this now so y'all can get a clear understanding of what I'm telling you. Because again, this is what led to the shutdown and why they had no more food stamps to give out. California led the way where I stay at in enrolling non-citizens on food stamps. So to my California people on here, those have been coming on my head, right? You complain about why you ain't getting your food stamps. You now know why. Let me read that again. It says California led the way when enrolling non-citizens on food stamps with a total of 273,000. In 2022, Florida had 238,000, New York 218,000, Texas 132,000, Illinois of Chicago 73,000 non-citizens. In contrast, Delaware, Mississippi, Montana, West Virginia, and Wyoming reported non-citizens on food stamps. Okay? That's a lot. That's a lot, bro. And again, I'm scrolling down. And again, I'm going to have all this on my YouTube channel for those that didn't get a chance to see my computer screen. But you see for yourself. Okay? I want you all to see these numbers. Billions in benefits for illegal aliens. Long-standing public charge policies of the United States have expected immigrants to be self-sufficient and non-reliant upon government benefit programs. Despite the public charge doctrine, the federal government provides billions in benefits each year to non-citizens, including illegal aliens. Okay? Undocumented individuals are not supposed to be eligible for food stamps. However, the Biden-Harris administration abused loopholes to confer status, such as parole or deferral from deportation to millions of illegal aliens qualify for the welfare programs as part of a catch and release agenda. So the programs that a lot of our American citizens, okay, our American citizens that are in need are not getting this. The people that FEMA didn't have enough money for, come here, Biden only gave the people from Hawaii, the wildfires, the California wildfires, and the victims of Florida and South Carolina, they only got $700. But they didn't get all these benefits that the illegals got, y'all. Again, I'm trying to explain that. I need to explain what's going on here. I'm just breaking this down. Let me read that one more time. Despite the public charge doctrine, the federal government provides billions in benefits each year to non-citizens, including illegal aliens. As the USDA notes, undocumented individuals are not supposed to be eligible for food stamps. However, the Biden-Harris administration abused loopholes to confer status, such as parole or a deferral from deportation to millions of illegal aliens, qualifying them for welfare programs as part of its catch-and-release agenda. The Congressional Budget Office (CBO) estimated the surge in illegal immigration from Biden's border policies will cost $15 billion in food stamp benefits to be paid to illegal immigrants and their children by FY 2034. Securing the border is one of the most important priorities of the American people, which Trump talked about during his campaign. But Kamala did not secure that border at all. They let all of them in. The budget reconciliation process will allow Congress and the Trump administration to take serious steps to crack down on the chaos at the border. This should include closing the loopholes and cutting off billions in welfare and benefits that are spent on illegal aliens. So again, this is why there's no money. This is why SNAP don't have the benefits right now. Because now they got to try to recircle the wagons. This is why they're making certain people have to work now. This is why this forced Trump to do what he's doing. Again, people, we can easily blame Trump for a lot of this stuff because he is president, but we got to pay attention to what Biden did. And this is what I've been trying to tell people. Okay? A lot of people call me names. They think I'm stupid, but no. Y'all can come to find out my IQ level is much higher than what you think it is. I'm much smarter than what you say I am. But again, y'all want to know why this shutdown is happening? It's because of Trump spending the money on the budget. I mean, just giving it away. I mean, I understand it, But y'all got to understand, the Democrats have a different agenda in place. This is not the same Democratic Party as when I was a kid growing up. Because I was born into a Democratic household. But as I got older and I started educating myself and I started learning the system and I started learning to be more self-reliant, independent, where God bless me, where I didn't need to be on this EBT forever, I started seeing things differently. Now let's talk about income taxes, okay? Because your taxes is very important, y'all. Taxes will go towards funding all of this, okay? And this is in regards to California right now, because I live in California. These blue states pay the most taxes than these red states. This is facts. And if you don't believe me, I encourage anybody to go look this stuff up for yourself. Go do your own research. I suggest anybody that do your own research. Okay? If you think I'm lying, don't just take my word for it. Research things for yourself. Like you got to get God for yourself. You got to do this research for yourself so you can be well informed. Because the issue is too many people are depending on these government food stamps and this cash aid, and they're not getting a real job. They refuse to work. That's a problem. And I understand a lot of people ain't going to want to join this live too much. They ain't going to want to like it because I'm saying too much truth right now. But the ones that understand, I thank you. But again, you got to understand that there are people, the government has been taking advantage of this. There are people in America right now that need these more, and they can't get it. So those are the ones I'm defending. Those are the ones I'm speaking up for. Now, California has a progressive income tax system with the highest top marginal rate in the U.S. at 13.3%. However, this top rate only applies to high income earners. For most residents in California, effective income tax rate comparable to lower or many other states. Now, before I get to that, let me play this video. Let me show y'all something. I want everybody to see something real quick. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to play audio right now, y'all. Bear with me. Because this is getting towards something. Because I'm concerned about where my taxes is going. And if I don't want my taxes going on a bunch of lazy people that's going to be taking advantage of it, then I have every right to complain. You know, I have every right to complain where my money's going.
Meat, chicken, you name it, okay?
You know, I have every right to...
So, yeah, too bad, so sad. She's probably looking for me because she's been blowing up my phone. Like, where are you?
Give me a second. Yeah, y'all gotta understand, like, I have a right to complain where my taxes is going. Because us as taxpayers, we being taken advantage of. Like, seriously.
Worth of, like, meat, chicken, you name it.
Okay. I want y'all to see that top screen for my viewers.
Okay. So, yeah, too bad, so sad. She's probably looking for me because she's been blowing up my phone.
This woman's sister is getting $36,000
like, where are you?
in
I'm like, I'm
food
gonna go shower. But that was like an hour ago. So she's probably like looking for me right now.
$36,000.
So yes, I'm so excited. No one told her. Oh, and by the way, I didn't know her PIN number just because a few months ago I went with her shopping and I was like making sure I knew the PIN. So you know what? I grabbed that card, girl. Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a little...
So again, $36,000. That's crazy.
Grateful right now, growing up poor, because I feel like I can survive being poor, eating poor. Because with everything being so expensive as it is now, I feel like I can stretch my dollar bill pretty good. And not only growing up poor, but growing up Mexican. Because, girl, let me tell you, the huevitos con weenies, the tortillas con sal, the sopita de fideo, like, that will fill you up, and it's dirt cheap.
No, Trump is not violating the law. Okay? He's really not. You could say Trump is violating the law, but what about what Biden was doing? Just before I continue. What about what Biden was doing? Tree Williams? I get it, bro, but we got to also hold the Democrats accountable. Yeah, we can blame Trump all we want to, but we got to hold both sides accountable for this because the Republicans in the wrong, so is the Democrats. But let's proceed.
Not only do I love it, but I raise my kids eating the same thing and they enjoy it very well. So I don't have to worry about them being picky. I guess being raised poor and Mexican finally paid off.
Yeah, my wife is always telling everyone that I'll eat anything. I'm not a picky eater. Well, there's a reason for that. Didn't grow up in a very wealthy household. I grew up with a calorie is a calorie. You want to know what was a treat? Cinnamon, sugar, bread. Just get some white bread, put some butter on it, mix in some sugar with some cinnamon dash. Delicious. Ate that way too much. I'm shocked that I was not a fat kid growing up.
So I went to this. And by the way, growing up poor is against God. It really is. Yeah, my family started off poor too, but we wasn't eating the same thing every day. You see, my family cooked. My step-pops was from Louisiana. He cooked them red beans and rice. My mom's from Mississippi, so I came from a family that was cooking. Yeah, I came from the struggle too, but to be poor, that's a mindset. You're not meant to be on there. See, God wants to bless everybody. God wants to encourage, wants to uplift and inspire people to get it. God wants to put you in the direction to where you can succeed and you can have wealth, but you gotta allow them to. You gotta buckle down and you gotta strategize. See, I don't agree with what that young lady just said because you ain't gotta be raised poor your whole life. That woman choose to put her kids in poverty. That's somebody that don't want to grow and get better. But let's continue.
The store today to get me something to eat, right? Oh, shoot. Clean that later. And this couple saw what I was buying.
Let's look at another story.
The woman left her receipt behind. Look at the amount.
Now, this is a person who left a receipt behind that got reported. It says, this is a person, her name was Nisha Pearson. She said, my friend was behind a Venezuelan woman in a line at the store. The woman left her receipt. Look at this stat. Look at this here. I can't get EBT and look at the cash balance. We let them tell us into no help though. Y'all finna see these numbers because it's crazy.
13,000 in food stamps, 4,000 in cash. Yes.
Y'all see that? He said 13,000. So what was a person need with 13,000 in food stamps? And this was an immigrant. 13,000? When I was on EBT, I couldn't even get 13,000. No, hell no. Again, I'm playing this for a reason. Y'all see this, right? This is where our taxpayers going. We getting taken advantage of. See, Biden making sure these illegals is taken care of more than Americans. Y'all gonna find out real quickly, man. This is why I don't vote Democrat. We're getting played. We're getting pimped. There are American citizens that can't even get 13,000 in food stamps. Look, cash aid, I'm looking at $4,498. That's more than the average paycheck. No, hell no. Now y'all see why I'm complaining. Now you see why I got a reason to complain. Why does an illegal immigrant get this much money, but we can't get this much? There are American citizens right now that need that. We got elderly people that could use 13,000. We got disabled people that need 13,000. Come on now. And there are people that's on EBT that actually work. They can't even get 4,000. They can't even get that much. And I'm talking about the single parents that actually are working. That are poor, that are working, that's trying to make it. They can't even get that. That's the ones I'm defending. I'm speaking up for them. We got military veterans. They're not getting this much. And I work at both the VA Long Beach out here in California and the VA West LA. And I've had conversations with many veterans that said that they're not getting the help they need. But there's a Venezuelan woman from out of the country, came in here illegally, that's getting 13,000 in food stamps. 4,498 in cash aid. Oh no, that's too much. That's way too much. But now y'all see why I'm making this video. Now you see why I get to complain. Because my tax dollars is going towards that. So y'all say I'm tripping over $36 a month of my taxes being going towards EBT, but look what they doing. Look how much some of these illegals, people that weren't even supposed to be here. Because what Biden and Cameron did will open up his borders, these other countries ain't open up their borders. You're going to see Dubai open their borders, Canada not opening up their borders. Mexico is not even opening up their borders. And you see, Mexico got issues now trying to deport people. Only in America where you get somebody like Biden and Kamala Harris that can open up these borders. But give these illegal immigrants over 13,000 in food stamps. No, hell no. I got a right to feel some type of way. I'm paying taxes like everybody else. And in California, I got to pay more. I don't like Gavin Newsom at all neither, man. I'm getting tired of these Democrats. And I don't vote Republican like that either. I'm an independent. I told everybody what the solution was a long time ago. And even then, in 2020, I warned everybody about Biden. So, again, people, y'all want to know why there's no food stamps? You now know why. Because there's other illegal immigrants, like these Somalians, that got the same much cash aid in food stamps. Sad.
You heard that right. Take a closer look. $13,401 with 82 cents in food stamps, and the cash balance $4,498 with 85 cents.
And what I'm trying to figure out, that can feed 2-3 families. What is somebody gonna do with all that? That's what I'm trying to ask. Like, come on, man. Like, there are people that's working these jobs. They can't even get no cash aid. They really need it. People that's working low-income jobs, they can't even get this. There's people working in warehouses, 12-hour shift, technically slave labor. They can't even get all that. What about our American citizens that need it? Matter of fact, like I said before, the victims of these wildfires, these hurricanes, the ones that got hit in South Carolina, the ones that got hit in Florida, they can't even receive all this. I live out here in LA. The California wildfires was bad with Mayor Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom. They didn't give none of these victims this type of benefits. Now you see why we have an issue here. But yeah, y'all wonder why the government is shut down. You wonder why there's no more food stamps. Because they telling you right there to your face, we don't got no more money like that. We ran out. The well running dry. We can no longer afford to accommodate everybody. So now we got to make certain cuts. We got to make certain sacrifices. It's bad, y'all. It's really, really bad. But we can't blame Trump for this. This is first time in here after 4 years. Again, blame Biden for all of this. Again, it's easy to go after the Republicans, but we also got to hold the Democrats accountable too. Because if the Republicans bad, what you think the Democrats are? They sitting here taking advantage of y'all right in y'all faces. Those that voted for them. I didn't vote for Democrats. I was smart enough not to do that. Not to keep falling for that trap. And they don't give a damn about the black community. And I'm sorry to say that, but they don't care about the black community. For my people of color. They don't care about us. These Democrats gonna continue to use us and play us. Matter of fact, when reparations was already prepared and proposed to Biden and Kamala Harris, neither one, Biden didn't even sign it. He ignored it. We get nothing. Absolutely nothing. So no, I don't want nobody on here trying to get on my head about me complaining about EBT because my taxpayers' dollars went towards that 13,000, that 4,000 that immigrant received. She knows she don't need all that. Like, come on, man. Like, there's people that's really out here starving. There's homeless people that can't even get that.
I mean, I don't know if the person who left it was a Venezuelan woman, but according to the Post, that's what they're saying. So a couple years ago when I was off TikTok, I was down on my luck and I applied for food stamps. Wanted to see how much they were giving me? Look at that, $68.
And by the way, there's old folks that are receiving around that too. There's elderly people that are receiving less than $68. They only receiving $24, $34, $40. And their 401k can't cover everything because stuff that got so high. And that's another thing too. You want to know why taxes is getting raised higher? Because every time we're in wars and every time there's recession and we letting this many people, again, we got to, it's not enough money. We got to raise things. See, when you let this many people into an ecosystem that can't handle it, that's when taxes got to be raised higher just to compensate. So I need people to understand that right now. I need people to get this. That's why taxes have been raised so high, because Biden was spending, not only was he helping other countries overseas, but he was getting illegals that he let in here all this money, all these benefits. And it's overpopulating these cities. So there's a regular American citizens, they getting screwed over. There are people right now that can't receive $4,000 in cash aid that actually need that more. People that's in wheelchairs that can't move. What about people that are blind? Huh? People that have hearing aids, what about them? Like, come on, this is what I'm saying. These things got to stop. You wonder why Trump is doing what he's doing. And by the way, Republicans and Democrats are fighting amongst one another, like parents arguing who will get custody of which child. That's what's been going on over the last 3 days with this shutdown. Because Democrats want Trump to continue funding these illegals. See, Tree, I could believe what Trump is telling me because I looked it up myself. I researched it already. Trump is trying to tell the Democrats, we can't afford to keep funding these immigrants, because what about our American citizens are not getting this much money? What about them? Again, there's no more food stamps. That's what they're trying to tell everybody. We're limited right now. We're running out. Our budget is running out right now. Okay? It's too many people in here. These cities can't accommodate that many people. Millions of immigrants coming in here illegally. They didn't go through no process. And, and what about the immigrants that did get legal? What about them? What about the migrants that went through the process? They had to go through the border and they had to go through a process to get legal. What about the ones who had to pay money to get their citizenship? They had to pay money, hundreds of dollars to get their green card. What about them? They not even treated with all this much money in free food, free cash. Because all this stuff is free. Well, me, who works a 9 to 5 that have to work over 40 hours, we don't even get this. And then we got to worry about our mortgage. We got to worry about bills. We got to worry about our rent going up. Come on now. Let's make it make sense.
Yes, $68 fucking dollars. What was I supposed to do with that? But I was desperate. I mean, I only took it for like a couple months and then I canceled it.
And you're hearing the testimony of a young man that was down on his luck. There's other people that was like him too. But we don't think about them.
And me, I'm an American citizen and I have kids and I was getting $68. You know what? I think I'm just gonna quit my job. That way I can get $18,000 in government assistance.
Pauline, how many children do you have?
3.
You expecting another one?
Yes.
Now there's a woman that got pregnant. She already got 3 kids, expecting another one. And that's another thing. See, I'm gonna show y'all the game. Y'all listen, I'm gonna show you the game. There are women that purposely want men to get them pregnant. It's called trap queens. They look for the simp. They look for anybody that can go up in them, and they encourage you not to use a condom. They want you not to use a condom so you can impregnate them. They don't love you at all, and they purposely get these men on child support. And child support takes away damn near everything. And these same men that's on child support, they can't receive these food stamps either. If they get on food stamps and cash, they not getting as much as their baby mother's receiving. And this same baby mother is kicking these men out the house. They can't get hardly no visitation rights to their children. They're being taken advantage of. Okay? And while these women are having all these kids, they get on Section 8, they get free housing, and they only got to pay up to like $50, maybe $100, maybe under $100 of rent. They get these apartments, these 2-3 bedroom apartments, and they only got to pay $50 of rent while taking care of 3-4 kids. No fathers in their children's life, which is part of the problem of society. These kids don't have a father. You need both of your parents in your life so the children can have a balance. It's not good for a mother to be raising that child on their own, but a lot of these women don't care. They know who they are. I'm telling y'all the game right now. You finna hear another story.
How old are you?
21.
You have enough children?
Women at 21.
Yes.
Did anybody ever tell you that?
Yes.
Who else told you that?
Everybody.
So add my voice to the rest of the pack. You have enough children, there are other things to do in your spare time.
So that was a caseworker talking to a young lady that's 21 years old. And that same young lady, I can bet you she ain't working. She's just living off these government assistance. And that one's probably getting around $1,100, $1,200 in food stamps. Over $2,000 in cash aid. Because when you got these children, the government gives these baby mothers, these mothers, money for those children. But you got some women that take advantage of it. They're not even using all that money on kids. They're using it on themselves to get their hair and nails done. Buy a brand new Lexus, a brand new Benz, a brand new Beamer. While collecting child support money. I got like two brothers that was on child support. I got a brother now that's going through that right now with his first baby mama. And they tell me, I got homies that went through this. They tell me it's exact. Be patient. Don't just wait to have kids. Be patient. Get married first. They tell me these things because they don't want me to fall into the same mistakes they made. To all my young folks watch this video, be careful who you lay down with. Be careful who you impregnate. If you're going to impregnate the woman, be prepared to stay with her long term or put a ring on her finger. Okay? Do not lay down with a woman and get her pregnant and you don't intend to stay with her because you will get put on child support and you don't want that. Hey, true ones, that new Muslim married, that guy is like, that man Danny, he's that guy don't understand, he doesn't understand how to, Zohan Mandani doesn't understand economy. He doesn't. This is a man that's never had worked a job like that before. He has no prior experience. That man's pushing another agenda. And I'm going to get to him on a separate video. Because when it comes to Zohan Mandani, I have a separate live for him. But no, the New York is in for a rude awakening. Because he's a socialist, but socialism leads to communists. It leads to a third world country. This man don't understand that you can't keep taxing the rich. Because these rich people are keeping us employed. These rich people are the ones that keep certain business running. Certain restaurants you like to go to. Places like Target and Walmart are ran by millionaires. And once they lose money, you keep taxing them. They don't have enough money to afford their employees. They losing revenue. They got to close down and move shop somewhere else. But again, that's a video for another day because I'm going to get to him specifically. I got a special video for him. But Tree, I don't like Zohan Mandani. I really don't. And he used to be a rapper too. But Zohan Mandani also has an MO. Okay? Because he's pushing that Islamic agenda. That man already believes in Sharia law. He has a father that's also radical, by the way, too. Again, you got to do your research on Zohan Mandani and where his family is, who they represent. But let me continue on with this audio in this video because I want people to continue to see what's going on.
Somebody left a comment under my Rate's video talking about, I bet she didn't even pay for her car, and who's paying for your braces? Assuming that I got government assistance for my braces and my car. I want to know where they're giving away $45,000 camionetas. I really want to know where they're giving away these brand new cars because shit, I don't know why I spent all that money then if they're giving them away for free. And my braces, if they're giving away free braces with government assistance, don't you think I would have gotten them 10 years ago when I was 15? I'm getting them now because I can afford it now. Pay almost $300 out of pocket every single month to do my brace.
And by the way, taxpayers like me, when it comes to Medicaid and when it comes to this insurance, some of the stuff we got to pay out of pocket. Because that's another thing too. A lot of these immigrants I'm telling you about, a lot of these people I'm describing, they get free Medicaid. That means all their stuff is taken care of. Dental, everything is taken care of. They ain't got to pay out of pocket for nothing. We as taxpayers, we got to worry about these things. This is why we got to budget. We got to make certain sacrifices to our money. We got to watch over our bank accounts and what we spend. Because I just recently got some dental work done to my teeth, as you can see. I got 2 crowns. I had to get one of my wisdom teeth pulled, and I had to get another crown put in. That costed over $1,700. It was over $1,700 altogether. And I still got to get 2-3 more wisdom teeth pulled. And when it comes to my medicine and getting other stuff done, I got to pay half of that out of pocket. So I need people to understand. People like me have a right to complain.
You know how I'm able to afford all this stuff? It's because something that people don't know how to do is called working. I've been working.
Okay. All right. Shots fired.
Full time since I was 15. Just got out of work. I make good money.
Please tell me this woman is a nurse.
And I make really good money thanks to you guys here on TikTok watching my videos. So yes, that's how I'm able to afford stuff. I've never even been on.
By the way, there's other ways to make money too. Okay, there's people making money on TikTok, YouTube, social media, Twitch. There's other ways to make money. I mean, you ain't got to stay poor. Nobody has to stay in poverty ever. God did not intend us to be in poverty. God created this entire earth, all the land in it. But you got to want to go get it. And you got to want to be able to learn skills. See, that's the problem with a lot of people. Some of these people that's on EBT and SNAP that are lazy, which I've been describing on my social media all this time, is that they don't want to go out and learn new skills. They don't want to go out here and go work. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to use some of that cash aid money on a babysitter or daycare. They don't. They want to sit at home all day long, right? Collecting all this aid, doing whatever they want to do, while the rest of us out here got to work and grind every day. And we got to do the things that we don't feel like doing. But they don't.
Food stamps or any government assistance. No que yo no lo ocupaba, pero mi mamá always wanted to leave those resources for people that would actually need it the most. But yeah, just because you see Hispanics doing really good in this country and doing way better than you doesn't mean, oh, it's government assistance. Bitch, I'm buying Louis Vuitton bag. Oh, it's government assistance. Where are they giving away free Louis Vuitton bags, free braces, free 45K cars to Latinos? Because sign me the fuck up. Also, statistically, the people that are most on welfare is white people. Okay? You guys are the CEOs of pedir ayudas and signing up for those guys.
And yes, there are a large amount of people that are Caucasian on welfare. I do acknowledge that. Okay? And I've been going at them too. Because a lot of them are lazy. Okay? So, again, a lot of this has to stop. Trump is trying to shut stuff down. He getting tired of it. And I'm tired of it too. Because us as taxpayers, we the one that's got to suffer at the end of the day.
Addict, narcissist with BPD. She claims him on taxes and food stamps. She always promises to help me, but she seems to only give me what she thinks is fair. With it being Christmas, she sold all of them for her presents, leaving me, my brother, husband, and 2 daughters, 7 and 5, without. I was relying on them this month to feed us, and in not so nice words, she told me to get lost and that I was greedy. So I called FSSA and reported her. When I called and reported her, they told me that she could face jail time, and then I started to feel guilty about it.
And this is a daughter that's got to report her own mama for taking advantage of it. Not getting her nothing. It's crazy. Like, this is sad. Again, people been taking advantage of EBT for years. Years. While us American citizens, we've been suffering. Okay? Again, I'm speaking up for the American citizen that needs it, that can't get nothing.
I'm also scared that she'll come and take my brother because I do not have custody of him, even though I've had him for the last 10 years. And I honestly didn't want to put him through that. So am I the asshole for calling and reporting her?
That's a great question. I'll be honest. I would struggle to report family. It would have to be a complete black.
Now, that mother had to do something real screwed up for her own daughter to report her. But now y'all seeing the game. Y'all hearing what's going on. I'm showing everybody what's going on here. What's been going on. Because, again, a lot of this got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to end. You know, because I'm getting sick and tired of it. But let's get back to these taxes. So I told you before that California has a progressive income tax system with the highest top marginal rate. Okay? Look at 13.3, highest in the nation on income over 1 million for single filers. Like like myself. Rates vary widely. Hawaii 11% and New York 10.9% have the next highest. Those are our blue states. California, Hawaii, and New York have blue states of taxes. Again, all these taxes that we pay, part of this goes on those EBT, those food stamps and that cash aid that people take advantage of. Tax structure, progressive, 9 brackets from 1% to 12.3%, plus a 1% mental health subcharge for over income for over 1 million. Many states use a flat tax rate. Colorado at 4.4% and Illinois at 4.95%, while others are also progressive. So no income tax states. California has a state income tax. 9 states have no income tax at all. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. Most of those are red states, by the way. No income tax. Yet you wonder why people move away from California. Tax burden. Overall, tax burden, including sales and property tax, is high. But the income tax for low and middle income individuals is close to the national average. States with no income tax often compensate with higher sales or property taxes, which balance each other out. So, again, I'm showing everybody this for a reason. I'm telling you all this for a reason. Look at progressive system. Important considerations. California's tax system is highly progressive. This means that lower income Californians pay significantly lower rates, starting at 1%. At the high rates are heavily concentrated on the wealthy. Again, that's the Democrats, right? They want to tax the rich. They're socialists, but at the same time too, there's only so much you can do that, because if you keep taxing rich people, you keep taxing them more, eventually their business suffers, their stock suffers. And when somebody's stock suffers, then they got to make serious changes. And I understand that California has a higher income, a higher economy, but these taxpayers got to pay for it out our checks. Overall burden. When considering the entire tax picture, including sales and property tax, the overall tax burden can vary. For example, okay, Texas and hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right, I'm back. So yes, overall, when considering the entire, including sales and property tax, the overall tax burden can vary. So, for example, Texas and Florida have no income tax but feature higher property and sale taxes, for some low income earners can result in higher overall percentages of income paid in taxes than in California. So context, a state's income tax rate doesn't tell the whole story. Factors like the cost of living, average wages, and the quality of public services funded by tax revenue also need to be considered when evaluating the financial impact on residents. So you want to talk about poverty pimping out here in California? Governor Gavin Newsom been pimping everybody, because we've been paying the most. Now we're going to see a comparison. Now this is red states versus blue states. Who pays more in taxes? This is the study. Again, TikTok, when I'm done with this live, this video is being recorded. I'm going to post it all this on my YouTube. Okay, so y'all can go back and see this for yourself. But throughout all 50 states, the debate between red states Republican leaning and the blue states Democrat leaning can get pretty heated, and often extends to financial aspects such as the cost of living, individual income taxes, and presidential policy. Okay? So now, by analyzing the tax burdens in all states, you can gain insights into how political leanings might influence fiscal policies, as well as state and federal income taxes in general. Keep reading for a list of red and blue states as determined how each state voted in 2024 presidential election. So for some of you that might think about moving, because I know there's a lot of people that's getting ready to move out of New York. Because Mandini, man, for what he's doing, this man doesn't understand economics. Okay, this is somebody that don't got no prior experience working in no office. And this is a socialist running a certain agenda. Because like Tree Williams, like I mentioned Mandini before, that man wants to tax a lot of rich. And he mentions the wider neighborhoods, that's prejudice. But these certain billionaires and millionaires that he's talking about, they're keeping people employed. They got businesses throughout New York. They got shops that's open. If you keep taxing them a certain way, they have to move up out of there. And people are going to lose their resources. They're going to lose certain shops. They're going to lose certain stores they're used to going shopping in. Thanks for the follow, by the way. So tax burdens in red states. So let's look at the red states, right? In general, red states should be pretty happy with who is running the federal government at the moment, as there is a Republican majority in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, not to mention that the President Trump himself is the leader of the party. However, when it comes to varying income groups and the tax system they prefer, there may be some wiggle room in their esteem, as Trump's current approval rating has taken quite a dip in the first 100 days in office. And that's because, again, he has a lot that he has to deal with. You know, he has a lot that's going on. That's why it's a burden for him, because, again, like I told y'all before, he has to fix what the problems Biden been doing. Here's the tax burden for every state that typically leans like red. though many states have historically gone back and forth with political leanings. So Alabama 7.99, Alaska 4.93, Arizona 8.22, Arkansas 8.61, Florida 6.49. That's just a few, but again, y'all see this. I'm just going over tax percentages. In general, red states are known for their lower tax rates and more conservative fiscal policies. These states typically prioritize lower taxes and higher capital gains to stimulate economic growth and attract business residents. And let me also make note that these red states, these people can afford bigger houses. They're not paying as much as a blue state. The way we got to pay out here in California, states like Texas, for example, they're not paying what we got to pay on these houses. Their mortgage is not as high as ours. And these people got land. They got 2-3-story houses. They all afford apartments and all this other stuff. The other people out here in California can't afford. Okay, and then tax burdens in blue states. Now we're going to go to the Democrat side. If you tend to vote for the Democratic candidate, the likelihood of you living in a blue state or at least wanting to live there is higher. These states often have higher tax rates to fund more extensive public services and social programs. Like I told you, us that's paying taxes, again, a lot of this stuff is going towards this EBT and the stamp benefits. So if y'all see why I've been ranting and complaining, again, I have reasons to do this. Because we ain't really getting nothing back ourselves. They also typically invest more in public services, which reflected in their higher taxes. Now, California, look, ours is 11%. We got the highest. In our Colorado, well, Coach Prime is at 8.73. Connecticut, 9.90. Delaware, 6.52. Georgia, 8.47. Hawaii, 13.92. They pay higher than us. But you see how Biden was taking care of them. What's sad about Hawaii, when Hawaii had those wildfires, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Oprah Winfrey had to use their own money to help them. Biden didn't hardly do nothing for them. And yet these people have willingly voted for Biden. But he had hardly no money, no benefits to give them. None of them received $13,000 in food stamps. None of them received $4,000 in cash aid. But instead, they only get $700. Come on now, man. Illinois, 10.22. Maine, 10.64. Maryland, 10.4%. And my boy Anton Daniels did a video about them. There's people moving out of Maryland because they can no longer afford to live there. Massachusetts, 9.57. And the list goes on. Look at New York, 13.56. So, now remember when I told you about Mandini? Now he's getting ready to do all this in a New York state where they paying 13.56% in taxes. They paying a lot of taxes. This man's getting ready to screw up a lot of business. Mandini's getting ready to piss off a lot of business owners. Again, people who own these restaurants, they own these shops. He's getting ready to cause a lot of people to leave, man. They're getting ready to go bankrupt. And then that's another thing. He say he's gonna have people free housing, right? Free buses. Well, somebody got to pay for all that. And he's already asking people to donate some more money before January 1st, before you get in there. Look at Rhode Island, 10.8. Vermont, 11.53%. So that's crazy. And y'all all see that. Y'all Democrats, man, y'all paying a lot of stuff. All right, so here's the final take to go. The data reveals a clear trend. Blue states generally have higher tax burdens compared to red states. However, this doesn't necessarily translate to lower take-home salaries or better quality of living. The choice between red and blue states often comes down to personal preferences and priorities. Some may prefer the lower tax rates or higher tax returns and smaller government of red states, while others may value the extensive public services and social programs funded by higher taxes in blue states. So, y'all can see for yourself here. Okay? But let me also get to this too, because this is going to also tie in. Because I'm somebody who also spends a lot of time with God. And this is what God told me in prayer. That a lot of this is what's going on right now. Trump, right now, is really the least of our worries. These food stamps is the least of our worries. Because there's a certain public figure that's getting ready to reveal himself. Now, I did a live not long ago, I think a couple months back, when I did my prayer. I did a prayer right now. I did a live talk about, no, it was a prayer. I did a live talk about Joshua Meklakiah. And in that live, I told you who the Antichrist was going to be. And I got a separate YouTube video displaying him as well. When the Antichrist reveals himself, there's not going to be no presidents. He's going to be controlling everything. And Antichrist going to get control of this food supply. I mean, he's going to get control of these food stamps. Now, before I end this video, I also got to talk about this as well. Okay? I got to talk about this because when the mark of the beast gets here, part of the mark of the beast is going to go towards you taking the mark to receive these benefits. There are people that's going to have to take the mark of the beast to keep receiving this SNAP aid, right? And this cash aid. Okay? When he gets into power and he controls all the nations, the UN, UK, all of this. United States, he's going to control everything. And there'll be people that'll be willingly give their soul to the devil just to receive these benefits. Now I'm going to play you something from CBN News. Again, people, pay attention. Listen with your ears, my TikTok audience.
Wellian, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer just announced mandatory digital IDs. Take a look.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
Now that's interesting. Now, for those people that's getting ready to fly, or have you been flying recently, you all know that we all have to have a real ID just to fly. And I had to get mines recently. Okay? If you don't have that real ID, you can't fly at all. This is why the TSA line's been so long. They've been going through issues because everybody wasn't trying to get that. But they making that a requirement. Now, this digital ID, whether it's the RFID chip or not, okay, whether that's the mark of the beast or not, this man said in the UK, you are required to get digital ID or you won't be able to work. And if you don't work, you're not going to be able to pay your bills. Thus, you're not going to be able to eat. But let's continue on.
It's as simple as that.
British civil rights activist Emily Emanuel joins us now. So, Emily, what was your reaction to Starmer's announcement?
Well, really, truly, completely shocked, but also not surprised. Keir Starmer has been a terrible, terrible prime minister right from the beginning. And I've never seen actually the UK population in such uproar against a prime minister in the time that I can remember anyway. So I am not surprised that he's trying to pull something out the bag that will try and get him some popular votes, although it's probably going to be completely the opposite. And if you didn't see, or I don't know if you've touched on this already, but there was a march a couple of weeks ago that had over 1 million people come along to it, which was in protest of these things that he's implementing and the state.
Now, just like we had no king's protest over here about Trump, UK got their own thing going on right now. So I need to point that out. You're also worried about these food stamps and what's going to happen, because what's going on in the UK is going to happen in America. Or is we not too far behind? Oh, no. See, there's something else I believe that's going on in that White House they're not going to discuss. There are certain stipulations. See, when you rely strictly on the government can do whatever they want to you. Those food stamps, that cash aid, it's going to come down. It's going to come a time and those going to come with strings attached. It's not going to necessarily be free, or you're going to have to be willing to give up something. You're required to do something for it. I'm just pointing it out because we are in our last and evil days. Before God comes back, there's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to be revealed. The whole Bible's unfolding before your eyes. But let's continue on.
Of how the state of the UK is at the moment with illegal immigration, with just this high kind of control of government. And so there's almost like a revolution going on in the ground in the UK at the moment because people are just sick and tired of these policies that he's implementing.
Well, you know, what's interesting is, obviously he made this announcement and he painted it in a way that this would help curb illegal immigration. But a lot of people online are saying, wait a second, you're saying these digital IDs where you won't be able to buy or sell. Sounds a lot like what we hear in Revelation 13 when it comes to the mark of the beast. People are wondering, is this like a precursor to that? So let me just read what the Bible actually says about that, and then you can draw the dots together if you think they fit. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Then the next verse says, "This calls for wisdom." So it does. I mean, it does seem like a precursor, right? You cannot work without said digital ID.
Now, there's gonna come a time when in America we're gonna be required to have this same type of ID. And by the way, there's already people in the UK now that's been chipped, including America, like in Wisconsin. There's already people that are willingly taking it. Like you see the people with the barcodes on their skin, that's where the RFID chip is, which I believe. There are people right now that scan in their hand and they're already paying for stuff. It's already been implemented. It's just not been mandatory. But it's going to come a time when all this going to have to be mandatory. And if you get the mark of the beast, you're going into eternal damnation. There's no going back. Because when that happens, again, all this EBT and all this stuff, that's going to be tied into it because the government going to be controlled by the real devil himself. Whichever name he's going to call himself, whichever his earthly name going to be. And again, people, I'm telling you this because I love you. I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to scare people. But you all need to understand what's going on here. Just people relying too much on the government. But it's going to come a time when all this cash aid stuff is going to come with strings attached. The devil will get control of this entire system. So you got to be ready.
Obviously, I will let you, my friend who's watching this, connect the dots if you think that they are there. But Emily, can you just maybe peel back the onion a little bit more? What's kind of the sentiment of British folks when it comes to this illegal immigration? Obviously, he says this digital ID, Freudian slip, is intended to curb illegal immigration. Well, what's the status like of the?
And once you get this RFID or this supposed ID, once you get it, they can track you from anywhere. And I mean anywhere. Satellite is nowhere to go. You can't run or hide. They got you.
Of the British people's mentality when it comes to the current state of affairs when it comes to immigration?
Well, first of all, I find it incredibly hard to believe that this digital ID has anything to do with illegal immigration, because when I have had a job in the UK, many times I've had to show my social security number and my passport. So I've had to prove my right to work in the UK. So this doesn't make sense that we need a digital ID to prove our right to work in the UK when we already have systems in place that allow us to do so. Now, many of these illegal immigrant workers, and I've known some when I've lived in the UK, they don't work normal jobs. They work cash in hand jobs. So, you don't actually have to go through the system and pay taxes and all that kind of stuff. So that's not the issue. The issue isn't going to stop. The illegal immigration isn't going to stop because there's a digital ID in place. They will find out ways to work, and if not, they will find out ways to receive money from the government. So it's not going to.
But again, when the Antichrist do get here, it's not going to be no other way around. Again, you ain't going to be able to run or hide. He's going to force you to do it. And if you don't do it, then, hey, what happens next? Hey, like I said, I just pray and hope we don't have to see that. I hope there's a rapture before then, but hey, ain't no telling. Now, let's look more into this RFID chip before I end this video. Now, it says an RFID chip can be implemented under the skin, usually between the thumb or forefinger, to be used for various purposes like access control, contactless payments. So basically like digital payments. Like, when we double tap our iPhones and you have your Apple Pay or you have your credit card on there. Well, the same thing happens with this RFID chip. I'm telling you that people got to get on their skin or their forehead. It can be used for payments or storing medical information. This practice is done via a syringe. And while proponents highlight the convenience concerns exist regarding data security, private potential health effects from implementation, and the creation of a societal divide. So how it works. RFID chips are small glass encased devices that function similarly to contractless cards. Like I told you, those credit cards are debit cards. You know, they have an RFID chip on them already. Well, that chip is as small as a grain of rice, like this. It's gonna be inside your skin. They're implemented via injection, so through the needle. The most common location, the fleshy web space between the thumb and the index finger. An external device like a reader powers the chip through a magnetic field, and the chip then transmits a signal with its data. So let's look at the potential uses. This is all going to be a convenience. This is why a lot of people are going to be using it. So access control to unlocking doors to offices and homes. So already, if you have a Tesla, you know you could already activate the Tesla as long as you have the key in your pockets. You already got these cars that are more electric. So you go unlock your doors. So it's like a security. You unlock your doors, go through your offices. Payments, making, like I said, contactless purchases, no more money. Cashless society. Identification, linking a unique ID number to external databases for medical records and personal information. So, like I said, that real ID, we already got to use that to go towards the TSS line and to go through the whole process of getting on that plane. Well, with these RFID chips, you ain't got to worry about none of that because they're going to already scan you through your face. You scan your hand or your forehead, you can just go right through. They can already look you up because it's going to be in your skin. So then you also get to log into your computers or sharing digital business cards. Now, risk and concerns. So privacy. Sensitive data stored on the chip can be vulnerable to theft or unauthorized scanning and security. While some chips have encrypted data, critics worry about the potential for hacking, signal interception, and cloning. Health. There are some concerns about long-term health effects of embedding a device that transmits radio waves, and some research on animals has shown links to tumors near the implant site. Ethical issues. Concerns have been raised about potential for employee tracking, discrimination, and creating a divide between those who are chipped and those who are not. Okay? So, all that's going to be tied into the system. I'm telling you about all this. People relying so much on the government that you got people that's willing to steal out stores for these EBT, for these food stamps, do all kinds of crime. But then what you're going to do with this RFID chip is forced on all of us. So, I'm telling you this now, people, we got to be prayed up. Now's the time to get your soul right with God. And like I said, I hope God comes back before then, but all of this free stuff from the government is going to come a time when you're required to have to get some type of identification just to keep receiving these. And knowing most people, they don't want to be identified like that. There's people that don't like the cameras anyway. But if you get this chip inside your skin, again, they got you from anywhere. They track you. They got all your information, your social security, everything. So, y'all, before I end this live, man, not just to give people a clear insight what's going on. And yeah, I was forced to have to vote for Trump. Okay? I was forced. It wasn't by choice. I don't respect Kamala Harris as a president and as a woman because she was the wrong woman to lead this country. But I'm going to say this now. I go to God when I make these decisions. I put God first on everything. Okay? And I have to forgive Trump like God forgave me. But in 2028, there may not be no president. That's another thing. We got to worry about what's coming up in 2028. And we got to worry about if the Antichrist going to reveal himself before then. Okay? But yeah, all this EBT, this is what God told me. The EBT and these foods like cachet, that's going to be all tied in with the mark of the beast. Devil going to use all that to control. He's going to tie all that with that chip, with the mark of the beast, whether it's the chip or not, to control the world's food supply. Because what that lady just told you is that there's people in the UK that's going through this right now. They're not going to be able to work at all without that ID anyway. So they're going to be out there starving. They're already going to be going through issues. So you think we got problems in America? UK got problems too. Oh yeah. But what's going on in the UK also could be getting planned in the US. For all we know, they could be planning the same thing with this government shutdown. And I'm not trying to go that deep in conspiracy theory, but you got to pay attention. There's a reason why they shut everything down. There are Republicans and Democrats both in there. Now, here's my solution to all of this, right? And I told people about this on my Facebook before, but people laughed at me. They tried to ignore it. The solution to the Democrat and Republican problem is, let's say, for example, right, everybody who looks like me with my skin color, right, everybody of color. Let's say we all decide we ain't going to vote Democrat or Republican. And we're going to decide to go vote for a third party of our choosing. If everybody that's black and brown, immigrants who are legal, and we all decide we ain't gonna vote Democrat or Republican, and we put a third party in there, another candidate from another class in there, that means these Republicans and Democrats have to take us seriously because they need us, especially black people, because we make up the majority of the vote. We're like the sleeping giant in all of this when it's election time. See, the Democrats do things to try to persuade the black community. This is why Kamala had Megan Thee Stallion up there, Beyonce, Eminem. They try to get all these rappers to try to persuade the hood. Okay? Because we make up the majority of the vote. But let's say we stop voting red and blue and we go with another party, another class. Then they would have no choice but to take us seriously because now they got to change their ways. But that also requires we don't get on government assistance anymore. But how many people are willing to make that sacrifice? That means we got to stop trying to rely on the government. Because welfare, honestly, was created by Lyndon B. Johnson to control black folks. Lyndon B. Johnson said, as I'm going to have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years because he wanted to keep controlling us. And it was the Democratic Party that wanted to keep putting us in slaves. They wanted to keep us in slavery, but the Republicans voted against it. I bet y'all didn't know that. And again, y'all can look it up for yourself. But I'm saying all this for a reason. In order for the Republicans and Democratic Party to change, and I'm talking to just my people alone, and anybody else, right? This applies to everybody, but I'm just saying, to my black people alone, we got to stop going red and blue, period. Stop voting Democrat. I got out that Democratic Party back then because God told me what they was doing. The Democratic Party was doing things that goes against what the Bible believes in and what it preaches against in those scriptures. You know, God's not happy with the way the Democratic Party is ran. And since a lot of y'all got a problem with the way the Republican Party is ran, well, let's not vote for them no more. Let's not support the Republican Party at all. So when J.D. Vance is trying to run for office, we don't vote for him, and we don't vote for Kamala again or Gavin Newsom. And let's nominate our own candidate of our choosing. Let's just go third party. There's plenty of them out there. There's the Independent Party, which I'm a part of. You got the Green Party. There's other parties out there. And that's the only way we change all of this. And it fixes the police station, what's going on with these officers. It fixes what's going on with these government. And this EBT, it fixes a whole lot of stuff. But we got to be willing not to vote for neither party. But, of course, that's easier said than done. There's going to be people that's going to vote for them anyway. But if you really want change, then you got to go for something. You got to stand for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And even Method Man said that in a rap lyric in a song he did with ODB a long time ago. You got to stand for something. If you don't stand for something, then you'll fall for anything. And this right here, I stand 10 toes down on everything I just described and what I'm showing you. Okay? But with that being said, I thank everybody for tuning into this live. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Thank you to my new followers. I love you. This is why I'm doing this. And I appreciate you. Take care. God bless. And I'm praying for you. And also, mental health is a thing. Take care of your mental health. Go talk to somebody if you need to. Take care. God bless.